My name is Brackin. I'm a 44-year-old father of 8 and a husband to my lovely wife of 20 years. I have battled generalized anxiety and panic attacks for too long. And after many years of research and experimentation, I have finally found a practical, sustainable, and natural cure for my anxiety, and some of these things may help you too. The cure I found is not medicine, and it's not mysticism, but it does involve this.
Don't think about it. Just go. Just go in. That's colder.
And this.
It's hot. I'm struggling.
And this as well. This is the first warm, hot, solid food I've had in a week. And more. But don't worry, I'll break all this down for you in just a moment. I'm ready to take my life back, and I hope you are too. So join me on the journey of health and recovery. This is Tiny Notes from Home. About 3 years ago, at the end of 2023, I shared a video about my battle with anxiety and how I've learned the secret to living with and learning from anxiety as though it was a teacher or a friend. But a lot has happened since then, and while I was feeling great at the time of making that video, little did I know that what was about to follow would be one of the hardest years of my life. 2024 for me was hard on so many levels, and I'm not going to go into all the details, but suffice to say, we were only able to put out 2 videos that entire year because of the difficulty and the stress that I was experiencing. And it was during 2024 that, in addition to battling anxiety, I developed a numbness in one side of my face that would just not go away. At first, I thought it could have been a stroke. Then I thought it could have been Bell's palsy or some other condition. But after a year of dealing with it off and on, I came to realize that it was directly tied to my stress response. I knew I needed to take it seriously and make some changes in my life. And so in 2025, that's exactly what I did. So Lindsay, from your perspective, what did last year look like for me?
Last year was a year of prioritizing your health and making changes that you needed to make in order to feel better, but also learning where are my boundaries, what do I need to say no to, not taking on too much responsibility, because you will have a lot of responsibility.
And has that affected you on a personal level?
I would say it has, because we're so connected that it would be hard for it not to.
Yeah.
Something you're going through is going to affect me as well.
Yeah. We'll hear more from Lindsay in just a moment about what it's been like to live with an anxious spouse and how things are different now. But now here are the 4 main things that I've adopted to battle the anxiety and to find a deep, meaningful, and long-lasting peace in my life. And the last one might actually surprise you. Before we go on, just a simple reminder. These are just the things that I have found to work for me, and it's not my intention to diagnose or treat any form of mental or physical illness. Only you know what's right for you, and if you're unsure of anything, be sure to consult a professional before trying any of the following. Walk with me, if you will, up to this beautiful waterfall that is on the property behind our house. And as we go, let's think about this. We are body, mind, spirit, and soul. And in order to tackle any mental or physical issue, I believe we need a holistic approach that addresses the whole person. And each of these 4 things that I found to work for me and my stress and anxiety touch on at least one aspect of the whole person. So we'll talk about the body and the mind stuff in a moment, which is very interesting. But I first want to touch on the spirit and the soul stuff, which is the most important. Now, check this out. What a beautiful waterfall, and it's such a blessing to have this right here in our backyard. And I'm just amazed at the beauty of the world around us. It reminds me of our Creator. Now, I believe in God and I'm a follower of Jesus. But before you click away, hear me out, because I didn't always believe this way. In fact, there was a time in my life when I actively tried to run away from God. I sought pleasure in the world for a season of my life in my late teens and early 20s, and eventually came to the end of myself. And it was during that season that my anxiety started, because I was intentionally disconnecting myself from my Creator. But then later on, after meeting my wife and deciding that we wanted to start a family together, I made a conscious effort to recommit my life to the Lord, and it was then that I found the power to overcome sin, to break free from addiction, and to find peace once again. I cried out to God, and I still cry out to God. If I find myself overwhelmed with anxiety, I can call on the name of Jesus, and I can pray His blood over my life, over my family. We have prayed over our home and our property, for it to just be cleansed of any type of evil influence. And it is in prayer and communion with the Lord that I have found the most freedom. I no longer need to live in bondage to anxiety, and panic no longer rules over me. Does that mean that I'll never be stressed out or anxious again? No, I will, because this is a human existence. But I know I can call on Jesus and that He will free me from those things once again. And so I would encourage you to cry out to the Lord. Even if you're not a believer, just try it. Get on your knees and say, God, reveal yourself to me and help me in this moment. And I guarantee you, if prayed from a heart of humility and sincerity, that He will answer and that He will deliver you. So in addition to my spiritual nourishment, I've taken a long, hard look at my physical nourishment as well. And that leads me to diet and intermittent fasting. So Lindsay, how do you typically feed our family? Like, what's your food philosophy?
I tend to focus on whole foods, simple meals. I try to cook healthy from scratch.
And then how do I typically feed myself if I'm left to my own vices?
Lots of snacks, candy, chips.
Yeah, I don't feed myself very well typically. And I have found, particularly toward the end of last year, my diet was absolutely trash. And from that, I found that my stress levels started to rise, and at times it might feel like the anxiety could creep back in. And so every so often, maybe a few times a year, I'll decide to do an extended fast. And I'm actually on day 7 of that fast now. I've had only broth and some coconut butter for the past week, and I'm about to break that fast right now. So if what I'm eating is stressing out my body, then what's stressing out my body will eventually stress out my heart and my mind as well. But you know how it is, like sometimes there's a vicious cycle of eating sugar so that you feel like you have energy, drinking a lot of coffee, and all of these things just bring our immunity down and stress out our bodies in ways that aren't good for us. So during this 7-day fast, I've had broth, and the first 3 or 4 days are really hard because the body is switching from burning sugars over to burning fat. And the fat that it's burning is the fat that's on my body. So I've lost a few pounds. The sugar and the coffee and the caffeine and all of that only provide us with temporary energy anyway. Feeding yourself with carbohydrates is like feeding a fire with newspaper. And in fact, we need to feed a fire with logs. So that is what I plan on doing to keep the stress and the anxiety at bay. Thank you, my dear. So this is the official reset of my metabolism. I noticed that as I was fasting, like I said, the first few days were hard, but after the first 3 or 4 days, I kind of got into like a really clean feeling headspace. And now eating whole food again makes me feel energized in a way that I wouldn't normally feel. Much better. So fasting and diet are a crucial part of my stress and anxiety strategy, which leads me to point number 3, which is sleep hygiene. So I don't need to tell you this, everyone knows it, but sleep is so important. And much like with my diet, I have not taken sleep very seriously. In fact, for the past few years, I have struggled with somewhat severe insomnia, at least to the point where I'll fall asleep fast, but then wake up almost every night at 4 o'clock in the morning with a racing mind and I can't get back to bed. But I've been able to fix that with a few easy to implement steps. And the first thing is this: we treat our bedroom as a sanctuary. In the past, we've not been good about protecting this space, but recently we have decided to leave all maybe heavy or long-winded discussions for the living room. Conversations are important, and Lindsay and I do a lot of late-night discussions, but when we come into the bedroom, we have set in our hearts and minds that this is a place of rest. I am such a light sleeper and stimulated by light and sound beyond what is normal. And because of that, we have put blackout shades on our windows here. And also because we have a nursery room attached to our bedroom, we run a kind of like a white noise machine in here for the little ones. And honestly, that helps me sleep very well too. Back in the olden days, you might read a book or something before bed, but it's become common practice in our modern era to look at a phone. I have put a blue light filter on my phone for the evening times, which may or may not help. But what I found to be even more helpful is not having my phone near me at night, or if it is nearby, having it powered completely off and using a good old-fashioned alarm clock in the case that I need it. Although, now that my circadian rhythm is a little bit more in sync, I actually don't need an alarm clock anymore. If I go to bed at night at a reasonable hour, I tend to wake up with the sun, which is right on time as far as I'm concerned. But yes, the nighttime scrolling and video watching that I tend to do, I know for a fact is harmful to my sleep routine. Also, in those moments when I'm filling my mind with geography videos or some guy backpacking across Europe, I'm also not using that time to think and ponder and reflect on the day. And so I've basically filled up the most reflective time of the night with someone else's thoughts and feelings on video or whatever the case may be, because we need that reflection time in order to restore ourselves and to find a place of deep rest. Another way to help me wind down for the evening to make sure that as I'm laying in bed by myself with my own thoughts, that I feel like I'm ready for rest, is to take a particular supplement that I found to be super helpful. And the sleep supplement that I found that helps me the most is called Moon Brew, and I promise you this is not a paid advertisement. I'm a customer just like everyone else, and I've just found that this works well for me. In fact, there may be other products similar to this that could do the same job, but it includes magnesium, like adaptogenic mushrooms and other amino acids that are helpful for sleep. If you try it for 2 months and then you don't like it or it doesn't work for you, you get your money back. So it's worth a try. Check out Moon Brew. The link is in the description below. Thanks. And the next thing I do after getting a good night's sleep is the fourth and final way that I'm treating my stress and anxiety. It's also my favorite new pastime. It's called contrast therapy, the combination of sauna and cold plunge, and I'll meet you over there to tell you a little bit more about it. In fact, I've actually become somewhat of a sauna fanatic over the past few months because I have found that the sauna and the cold plunge are the absolutely most helpful thing ever in my whole existence. We'd love to build a sauna right here in our backyard in this patio area that we are developing, and we will take you along on that journey as well. But fortunately, Lindsay and I learned last summer that our local gym has a sauna and a cold plunge right there ready for us. So I'm going to switch over to my cell phone when I get to the gym, and if it's empty today, I'll take you on the journey with me of what my sauna and cold plunge routine looks like. And then we'll meet back up here at the house in a little bit and finish up with Lindsay.
Today we're at about 175 degrees.
So I'll go back and forth between the sauna and the cold plunge a few times.
So I'm going to turn this off and soak in the heat for a moment, and I'll join you in a moment. Alright, so it's been about 5 minutes. I'm just now starting to sweat, and it feels a little bit weird to be vlogging in here. Not only because this is a public space, of course there's no one else in here right now, and I'll gladly turn the camera off if anyone shows up, but also because this is a deeply personal space for me. A place where I find a lot of peace, tranquility, and basically the only quiet time I have almost ever. It's a time for prayer, meditation, and then the shock of the heat and of the cold. It just triggers something in my body, my mind that says, you're gonna be okay. This is hard. And because you can handle this, you can also handle the rest of the hard things in life too. Head out to the cold now. It's like this pool's reading about 50 degrees today. Sometimes doing hard things is hard. It makes everything else feel very doable. I gotta get out now. Back into the hot. So another 20 minutes.
It's hot. I'm struggling. Struggling to stay in here, so I'm gonna turn this off for a moment and we'll jump into the pool.
All right, this time I'm going out to the pool. It's going to be much colder. Unheated pool in the winter. Don't think about it. Just go in. Okay. Oh, that's much colder. Okay, it's been almost 3 minutes. Alright, so I'm at the end of my 3rd round of heat. And this is where it really starts to feel like it's working. So, I'm just gonna take a few more minutes, finish up, and head out. See what the family's doing. Praise the Lord for heat and for cold, for the hard times in life. But help us to find our center, our middle, our balance. Yeah, praise the Lord.
All right, Lindsay, so what do you think of my sauna and cold plunge routine?
Well, what do I think of it? I think that it's been really helpful for you, and you just seem to thrive on it. I've done it once, and I can't say that I share the same passion that he shares for it,
It's okay.
but I'm really glad that it's helping you.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to go every other day or as often as I can. What has it been like for you dealing with an anxious spouse over the years, and how are things different now?
I would say, as you've dealt with anxiety on and off, it has been difficult to watch. My heart has hurt for you at times. But I would say that now, you have developed a lot more resilience, and that's just been really inspiring to me. And I'm just really proud of you for, taking that initiative. It's just really been good.
Yeah, well, thanks for being my support, my love, and my friend. Well, thanks y'all for watching, and I hope this has been encouraging to you. If you want to see more kind of health-related content or just things of that nature, let us know in the comments below, because I'm happy to share all that I've experienced with you all for your benefit. So God bless you, and we will see you next time.